I make more than you. Can you believe someone actually said that to a judge in open court? Well, it happened right here in Providence. And what Judge Caprio did next is something you have to see to believe. This isn't just about a traffic ticket. It's about a moment of pure, unadulterated hubris meeting a lifetime of wisdom. Stick with me, because this story is a masterclass in humility. Let's set the scene. Young man, let's call him Mr. Davison, is standing before Judge Frank Caprio. He's been ticketed for speeding through a school zone. We've all seen Judge Caprio's courtroom on Caught in Providence. He's known for his compassion, his understanding, and his incredible ability to see the good in people. But every once in a while, someone walks into his courtroom who truly tests his patience. Mr. Davison was one of those people. Approaches the bench with a certain swagger, a smirk playing on his lips. He's dressed in designer clothes, flashing an expensive watch. His body language screams arrogance. Judge Caprio, as always, is calm and collected. He reads the charge. Mr. Davison, you're here for speeding in a school zone, 43 miles per hour in a 25 zone. The judge looks at him over his glasses. It's quite fast, son, especially with children around. Do you have anything to say for yourself? This is where a normal person might apologize, offer an explanation, maybe even show a little remorse. But Mr. Davison isn't a normal person. He scoffs, a small dismissive sound. Yeah, I was late for a meeting. A very important meeting. Time is money, you know. Judge Caprio raises an eyebrow. The air in the courtroom gets a little thicker. He's heard every excuse in the book, but the sheer lack of respect is palpable. A meeting is more important than the safety of children? He asks, his voice still even, but with a new edge to it. Mr. Davison just shrugs. Look, I'll just pay the fine. How much is it? 200? 300? It's not a problem. He pulls out a thick wallet ready to flash his cash as if that solves everything. He treats the fine not as a penalty for wrongdoing, but as an inconvenient fee, a toll for his important life. This is where the story takes its famous turn. Judge Caprio, seeing this blatant display of wealth and arrogance, decides to dig a little deeper. He's not just a judge, he's a teacher. A lesson is about to be taught. It's not just about the money, son, Judge Caprio says, leaning forward. It's about responsibility. It's about respect for the community you live in. What do you do for a living that makes your time so much more valuable than everyone else's? And then comes the line that would echo across the internet. Mr. Davison puffs out his chest and says, with all the condescension he can muster, I'm in finance. I probably make more in a day than most people in this room make in a month. I make more than you. Silence. You could hear a pin drop. Court officers shift uncomfortably. The audience gasps. It's one thing to be arrogant, but to say that directly to a respected judge, that's a whole new level. He didn't just cross a line, he pole vaulted over it. Mr. Davison seems to realize, just a second too late, what he's just said. A flicker of panic crosses his face, but he quickly replaces it with his defiant smirk. He's committed now. Judge Caprio doesn't yell. He doesn't bang his gavel, just leans back in his chair, a thoughtful, almost sad expression on his face. He lets the young man's words hang in the air, letting their weight sink in. The silence is more powerful than any outburst could ever be. After a long moment, Judge Caprio speaks, and his voice is soft, almost gentle. You might be right, he says, nodding slowly. You probably do make more money than me. I'm a public servant. My salary is a matter of public record. But I want to tell you a story. The whole courtroom leans in. This is classic Caprio. He's not going to fight fire with fire. He's going to douse the flames with wisdom. When I was a young man, he begins, just out of law school, I had dreams. I wanted to be a successful lawyer, make a lot of money, have the big house, the fancy car. And for a while I did. I had a successful private practice. I made a very good living. He pauses, looking directly at Mr. Davison, who is now looking a little less sure of himself. I had everything I thought I wanted, Judge Caprio continues. The money, the prestige, but something was missing. I'd come home at the end of the day feeling ... empty. I was helping corporations, handling contracts, making rich people richer. It paid the bills and then some, but it didn't feed my soul. Then one day, an opportunity came up to become a judge here, in the city I grew up in. The pay was a fraction of what I was making. My friends, my colleagues, they thought I was crazy. Frank, you're throwing away your career, they told me. Why would you take such a massive pay cut? He looks around the courtroom, at the faces of the people watching, people from all walks of life. They didn't understand, he says. They saw what I was giving up. They didn't see what I was gaining. You see, Mr. Davison, what you make is your salary. What you're worth is what you give back. In my private practice, I made a salary. Here in this chair, I make a difference. He gestures around the room. Every day, I have the privilege of helping people. Sometimes it's by giving a second chance to a mother struggling to pay her bills. Sometimes it's by teaching a young person, like yourself, a lesson about respect and responsibility. Sometimes it's just by listening. The thank you I get from a single mom who I helped keep her license so she can get to work. That's a payment you can't deposit in a bank. The look of understanding in a young person's eyes when they finally get it, it's a bonus that no financial firm can offer. The feeling of going home at night knowing you've made your community even a tiny bit better. That, son, is true wealth. He leans forward again, his eyes locking with the now humbled young man. So yes, you make more money than me, but I wouldn't trade my salary for yours for all the money in the world. Because what I do gives me something your money can never buy: purpose, sense of worth that isn't tied to a dollar sign. The courtroom is completely still. Mr. Davison is no longer smirking. His face is pale, his eyes wide. He's looking at the judge not as an obstacle, but as a man. For the first time, he seems to be actually hearing him. So about your ticket, Judge Caprio says, his tone shifting back to that of a judge. The fine for speeding in a school zone is $200. But I'm not going to give you that. A flicker of relief on Davison's face. Instead, the judge continues, I'm fining you the maximum allowed, which is $500. I'm ordering you to spend 20 hours of community service, and I want you to spend that time working as a crossing guard at the very school you were speeding past. Mr. Davison's jaw drops. You need to stand there, Judge Caprio instructs, his voice firm but fair. In the rain, in the cold. You need to hold that stop sign and look into the faces of the children you put at risk. You need to understand firsthand what you were trivializing. Your important meeting can wait. Your lives can't. Maybe then, Judge Caprio concludes, you'll understand the difference between being rich and being of value. You have the potential for both. Don't waste it. This is your chance to start earning a different kind of wealth, the kind that matters. Mr. Davison stands there, speechless. All the arrogance has drained away, replaced by a look of stunned realization. He simply nods, mumbles a quiet, "Yes, Your Honor," and is led away by the bailiff. The courtroom erupts in quiet applause. Judge Caprio simply nods, takes a sip of water, and calls the next case. For him, it was just another day at the office. But for everyone who witnessed it, and for the millions who would later see it online, it was an unforgettable lesson. This story went viral for a reason. It's not just about an arrogant driver getting his comeuppance. It's a profound reminder of what truly matters in life. In a world obsessed with income, status, and material wealth, Judge Caprio reminded us that our true value lies in our character, our compassion, and our contribution to others. He showed us that the richest people aren't the ones with the most money, but the ones with the most purpose. So the next time you feel pressured by society's definition of success, remember this story. Remember Judge Caprio's epic response. Wealth is temporary, but integrity, wisdom, and kindness are timeless. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content that aims to inspire and uplift. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the judge's decision. We'll see you in the next video.